Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a collection and declutter video. So I am going to be doing a series going over every single category of my makeup collection and just downsizing a little bit. I'm feeling in the place where I want to declutter a little bit. I haven't done a declutter on my channel in quite some time. I think it's been at least 2 years. And I'm just feeling like I need to. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to put the category that I will be going over up on the screen here so I can just do one intro for every single one of my videos. There's no pressure on me. I think I did a decent job with a lot of the categories, but I'm not going in trying to cut my collection down in half. I probably will not be doing swatches on most things. I really just wanted to showcase my collection a little bit to you and go over my reasoning for keeping or decluttering some things in my collection. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let's just jump into the declutter. All right, who is ready for eyeshadows part 2? So I'm going to be going over all of my brands starting with M through Z. I have 127 palettes in that category, and I have 267 palettes total. I will link the part 1 to the eyeshadow declutter up above if you missed out on that video and want to go check it. But we are going to start brand by brand and start with the M's, which means we're going to go with MAC. So let me clear all this up and we're just going to get started. So for MAC, I only have one palette, and this is actually quite a new palette to me. This is the Connect in Color Embedded in Burgundy. This was actually decluttered to me. I kind of was thinking that maybe I would declutter this, but since it is so new in my collection, I want to hang on to it for a little while longer. I actually do really enjoy this palette. It's not a bad palette, but it might just be a little bit redundant in my collection because I think I looked and I have at least 2 of these shades in singles. So I don't know how necessary this is for my collection, but for now, it is just going to stay. And then the next brand I have is Makeup by Mario. Only have one palette from them, which is the Ethereal Eyes Moonlight palette that came out last holiday. This is a great palette. I really grappled with myself on if I should pick this palette up. And part of me kind of regrets it because now I want all the other Makeup by Mario palettes, especially the all neutral palette that he has. I am definitely going to keep this. I even tried duping out this palette with my Natasha Denona singles, and it just doesn't come close. The quality is beautiful, and I'm really happy I kind of impulsively purchased this palette. Next, we have Marc Jacobs. I only have one palette left from Marc Jacobs that I've kept over the years, and as you can see, it's in its box, meaning I have not opened it, and this is the Stiletto palette. I purchased this palette, if you can probably guess, off the recommendation of Mel Thompson. I talk about her so much on my channel. You might start to think I have an obsession, but I really did enjoy her content. And I just thought this palette was so beautiful. It was kind of one of the first really cool tone palettes I remember seeing in my collection. I don't know why I haven't used it yet. I do still want to keep it. It's a little bit sentimental to me, but I really need to prioritize using this palette. And if it's still not used by the time I do my next declutter, I think it's going to be time to let it go. And that's how I feel about that. I'm not ready to let go of this palette yet, even though everything logically is telling me I should be. My heart says no. So we're going to follow my heart today. Then we have my one and only Melt palette. This is the Petite Neutral Stack. If you've been following me for a long time, I mean, I rave and rave about this little stack. It is the perfect neutral little travel palette for me. You have a dark tone, a kind of mid-tone. You have a even lighter mid-tone, a shimmer, and then a really brightening up shade. I just think this is so perfect. It takes up no space. I love how compact it is. The formula is really great. This little stack never lets me down. So it will clearly be staying. I could never ever get rid of it. In fact, I was really upset when they discontinued this palette because I couldn't recommend it to people, and then they brought it back, I think because I'm not the only one who just loved it so much. So this will be staying. The first indie brand of the video is Mika Beauty Shop. This is a French owned indie brand, which is why I love to support them. The first palette that I purchased was the Serpent palette, which is so beautiful. This was a collaboration with Martez Makeup, I believe. It's a really great palette. This palette and this brand, I would say, is really great for beginners into indie because you're going to get those really impactful shimmers, but the mattes aren't so pigmented. They're very beginner friendly. They don't pack a lot of pigment and you can really build them up. So I think it's a really great brand if you're kind of just starting to get into indie and you don't want too much color, too much blending to begin with. Really like this palette a lot. Both of these I have yet to use actually, which is just sad. So we have the Forever Young palette and it looks like this. It's starting to kind of get some oil spill here. I love that you have the perfect columns to just do different looks. They're bright but muted. And I mean, it's a great formula. So I'm going to hang on to this one. Just kind of small and compact. I love the theming. I don't know. This one really caught my eye. And then the other one I purchased during Black Friday. This is the Simplicity palette. The artwork is breathtaking. And here's what the inside of this palette looks like. I have yet to play with it. It does intimidate me a little bit, but I think it's just this purple. If I was to like take that purple away, it's quite a neutral palette actually. So I just need to give this palette a chance. It's just, you know, add it to the list of things that are unopened in my collection and you get a little overwhelmed. But because the brand is so great, because they are a French-based indie brand, I do want to keep all three of these palettes. I only have one palette from NARS and it is the Climax palette. This again was decluttered to me pretty recently. I did a video talking about palettes I feel like I missed out on, and this was one of them. It was this cool toned holiday palette that just seemed like the diamond in the rough for NARS. So I had a friend who had one unopened and she decided to give it to me, which was very generous. So I will of course hang on to this palette. I only got it a couple months ago, but I have yet to use it. And now we get into a Big Daddy brand, our first one of the video, which is Natasha Denona. So let me get all those palettes out. I think there's close to 30 for us to go over. I don't know how many of these I'm actually going to be decluttering today. I do like keeping the midi size in particular because I use them to switch out color stories or try to dupe out palettes if there's something that interests me to see if I can use my Natasha Denona shades first. So I know all the midis are going to stay. We'll just quickly breeze over them. I have the bronze palette here. Then I have the Xenon. I don't have all the midis. I would like to get some other ones a little bit later. I have I Need a Nude, excuse me, my absolute favorite one. Then I have Love. If I wasn't keeping all of my palettes, I would probably declutter this one, to be honest, but for now it's going to stay. Then I have Retro. I have Glam. I have I Need a Warm, which is really pretty. I do not have Bloom. I would love to get Bloom eventually. Then I have Golden, also a favorite. I think they did a really great job with this palette. I have two unopened. I have the Roxa palette as well. I actually haven't used this one. I don't know why I took it out of the box so quickly. I think to label the back of the shades because I do that so I don't forget which palette it came from if I take it out. And then I just lost the box. Then I have the Sunrise palette. Then we have my Dream palette. This is newer to my collection. I didn't pick this up right when it launched, but it is really pretty actually. And the looks that I see from this palette are stunning. And then the last MIDI palette that I have is Yucca, which I also just recently got. I think she was doing some kind of sale. Natasha Denona does a lot of sales on her website, so make sure you're subscribed to her emails. Don't ever really pay anything full price, in my opinion, from Natasha Denona. I do also have an affiliate code for their website. It's just Melissa if you want to use that and save some money. But all of my midis are going to stay, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But I'm just not ready to get rid of them. These we're going to go through a little bit more. Starting, let's just finish up like these bigger palettes. The first one that I have is the Metropolis palette. I've gone back and forth on this palette. It's not really my color story, but I am slowly but surely getting into warm tones a little bit more. I still think this is maybe too far on the edge of warm for me, but because this palette you can no longer get, a lot of people missed out on it, and I will repeat myself, Mel Thompson loved this palette. I just can't see myself getting rid of it just yet, so it is going to stay. Then I have the Star palette. I lusted over this for so long. I didn't pick it up until it was announced that this palette was going to be discontinued because it was so expensive. I think $170. I do really like the tones of this palette, especially like this one, this one, this one, this one. But I just don't think this palette is relevant anymore. And it does have some of Natasha Denona's older shimmers, which are kind of just like, they're not as toppery. They're more thick and metallic. It's just not my type of shimmer. So I do think I'm going to declutter this palette, which is very surprising to me, but I think I'm ready to let go of it. I just don't reach for it as much, and I don't think I will continue to. So that's our first declutter of today's video. Next is the gold. I can't see myself getting rid of this one. It is a really great palette. Even though I have the golden, you just can't go wrong with neutrals. So this one's going to stay. I do like the blues in here, especially like these ones here as well. So I don't know. This is an iconic palette you can't get anymore, and I don't feel comfortable getting rid of it. So I'm still going to hang on to this one. The Lila palette, though, I struggle on. I just finished this palette, No Pan Left Behind. I wanted this palette so bad, but when I actually finished it, No Pan Left Behind, I just didn't love how it looked on me. I didn't love the different purples. I don't love how this is a primarily shimmer palette. I don't feel like it's a all-in-one palette. You do need a companion palette to go with it. I really love this shade and this shade, and you know, I could maybe pop it out. I actually don't know. These do pop out. It's really tough for me because I could like maybe just sell this palette. It's very gently used. I mean, I've used every shade only once. But I do think I just have so much in my collection. It's not worth saving one shade and then putting the palette aside. So I do think I'm going to declutter this one. Like the star. Does the star one pop out? I wonder if I could like kind of create a custom palette. It does pop out. Oops. I'm gonna think on that, but for now, I'm adding it to my declutter pile. If it comes out of it later, it's not a big deal. I might try to just like combine these two for my favorite shades. I just don't even know if I have enough favorite shades to fill one of these palettes. Like there's only maybe a handful that I would keep, and I just don't know if that's worth it. We'll see. Let's go over these ones though. For these ones, I do want to kind of be a little bit stricter on myself and only keep the ones that I would really use, because when they're small like these, I'm going to use them for travel. And for example, like this Mini Love, I'm just not going to take this traveling with me, and I'm not going to reach for it. So this one's going to go. The mini nude, I think, can stay. This is one I would take for travel. It's not my favorite mini, but it is decent enough to stay. Mini lila, I'm wondering if I should keep since I'm getting rid of the lila. But honestly, I think it's just going to go. Well, the thing is, these don't pop out. They're actually glued in, which is unfortunate. I really wish Natasha Denona didn't do that for her minis. And it's like, I'm looking at this palette and I want to keep it for these two shades, but how many of these shades do I have in my collection, guys? Like, really, it's silly that I'm debating with myself to keep this over like a neutral brown. Okay, it's going. The mini glam, I do like, so this can stay. The mini retro has to stay. This is actually probably my favorite mini, or one of my favorite minis. Top three. Then I have mini star. I think I can get rid of this one. It's not special enough. Mini gold. I do really like this one. I think it's a little unique with these greens here, different from like the other golds. My mini dream. This is my favorite mini actually, with mini retro close behind. But this is the newest one, the mini rose that I got, and this is also really pretty. The only downside to this palette is all of these shades are repeat shades from other palettes, so I don't love that, but I love having this, especially for travel. So I got rid of 3 of the little minis, and now we just have these 4 left. I know I want to get rid of coral. I just don't love this palette as much. These do pop out, I believe, yes. So maybe there's a chance I like take some shades out of the ones I'm decluttering and make like a 5 pan. I don't know. I'll think on it, but for now, coral is going. I kind of want to keep the rest of these though. The camel, I love a lot, actually. It's a really great staple palette. So this one can stay. And then I have the palette 02. This was when Natasha Denona was first coming out with things. And then I have the Iona palette. Both of these are really nice palettes, actually. So I am going to keep both of them. I don't want to declutter, and these you can't get anymore. So these 3 kind of mid-size 5 pans will stay. And I got rid of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 Natasha Denona. I actually don't think that's that bad. All right, next up is Nomad. Let's talk about Nomad. I think I have 8 palettes from them. There's some that I want to pick up still. The Berlin Underground is really on my list, and then the Fairy Tale Europe. But let's just quickly go through these, see if there's any I could get rid of today. The New Zealand Stargazing, I do like this one. I actually have a video recently where I ranked all of my Nomad Cosmetics palettes. I will link that video up above if you want to see my ranking on them. This one's okay. It's just a little bit deep dark for me. Not bad enough where I would declutter it. Polar Express is actually one of my top favorites, even though I don't gravitate towards blues. I love the neutrals here, and these 2 tones of blues are all right. It's really just this blue that I don't love on myself, so this one's for sure going to stay. Chicago Speakeasy is my favorite Nomad palette. I've said it again and again and again, but I just love this one so much, so for sure staying. This is the one that I've decided to declutter. This is the Tokyo Harajuku palette. And I've gone back and forth because I did decide in that ranking I was going to declutter it. Then I had a friend do 3 looks with this palette and it turned out beautiful, and she loves this palette. So I thought, I kind of had second thoughts, like maybe I'm just not giving this palette enough love. But in the end, it just needs to go. It just needs to go. So it is going to go. And then the Fête de Provence palette. Love this palette. I think it's really pretty. I would love to pick up the remastered one, but really I don't need it. So I'm going to just keep this one, be happy with this one. If you're thinking about it though, I would definitely pick up the newer version because I heard that the shimmers are much better. Not that they're bad in these, but just a little bit more updated. Then I have 3 of the what are these, 18 pan palettes. I do prefer this size, just throwing it out there, but it's fine. I have these. I have the Chamonix Après-Ski palette. This is a really pretty cool tone, desaturated palette. I like it a lot. I didn't love the looks that I did with this palette when I used it, no pan left behind, but I did kind of stick within the color story. So I think if I bounced around this palette a little bit more, I would like it more, and it's definitely going to stay. Haunted Europe, I actually like this palette quite a bit. It doesn't look like my style, I feel like. If you were to just look at this palette objectively, I don't think anyone would say that this was a Melissa kind of palette, but I actually really do enjoy it. I don't love that these two golds are practically identical, but it's all right. It's good enough to stay. And Ghost Town USA is also a really nice palette. It's not my favorite of the Nomad palettes. I feel like the formula is a little bit different. The shimmers are very thick and creamy and wet, and to me, I just don't think that's flattering on the eye. And then the mattes are also kind of a creamy matte formula, I think. I don't know if that's true or verified. That's just my thoughts on this palette. So the formula is not the best, but I do like this palette and I like the color story. So I'm getting rid of 1 and keeping 7. Next up, we have Odin's Eye, and I have quite a few Odin's Eye. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Odin's Eye palettes, and I think I need to be a little bit strict with myself on these palettes. So, Christmas Eve palette is my favorite of the holiday palettes, so this one will stay. The Merry Christmas palette, I don't love this palette, so it's going to go. Love Language, I haven't used yet. This was in collaboration with Morgan Turner. Looks like this. I definitely won't be getting rid of this one because I haven't even used it yet. Then we have Snow Dream, one of the other holiday palettes. I actually kind of like this color story. I think it's not very holiday, but it's very spring, so I'm going to keep it. The Hey Reindeer palette, though, confuses me. I don't see looks when I look at this palette. I don't feel like it's winter time, and also I just had a really hard time with the formula. Odin's Eye's formula, I'm not the only one who thinks this, but just seems to be hit or miss as of recent, not the consistency that they used to have. So I'm also going to declutter this. I have 2 of the Legend Diversa Part 2 collaboration, I think. The first one is with Judy, and it's the Spring Dragon palette. I'm also going to declutter this palette. This collection was really disappointing to me. I didn't find the quality to be there. I've already said my thoughts on the quality, consistency with Odin's Eye, but I was going to try this palette, No Pan Left Behind, make sure it was a palette that I wanted to keep, but I think I'm just over it and it can go. Mighty Monster, I want to keep this because I do really like Annette as a creator, but I just don't think I'm going to reach for this palette other than the neutrals. So I also think I'm going to declutter this palette. Then these 2 palettes I haven't used at all, and I bought them right on launch. The Stone and Rock palette, which is kind of like this grungy green. And then I have the Jewels and Gems, which is a little bit more cool tone. This collection got away from me. I purchased it right on launch and then just never got a chance to review them. And then it kind of just became old news. So I consistently put it off. I didn't hear great things about the formula on these palettes, but I do really like the color story and I would like to decide for myself. So I'm going to hang on to them. And then these 3 are also going to stay. This is actually the newest Odin Eye palette to my collection. I also got this decluttered to me. This was in that same video where I talked about the NARS Climax palette on palettes I feel like I missed out on. And I had a friend give this to me. I've gotten like such a great community of friends here on YouTube. I'm so grateful. But here's what this palette looks like. And I would like to use it and give it some love. So this will also be staying. And then this was my very first purchase from Odin's Eye. These 2 palettes here. We have the Flora Story palette with Makeup Just for Fun. My perfect color story. Love it so, so much. And then the Sea Talk palette with Lauren May Beauty And this is also a really fun palette. I actually reach into this palette quite a bit. Love the neutrals, love the pinks. It has like really pretty pops of blue. I don't love the chartreuse as much as everyone else seems to love a chartreuse, but I do really enjoy this palette and I think it's great quality. So out of the Odin's Eye palettes, I am keeping, what did I say, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I am decluttering 4. I am very happy with that, actually. It just feels a lot lighter to be getting rid of these palettes that I'm just not going to use. A lot of the times I struggle with whether I should keep palettes like this or not, because I could do a ranking on my Odin's Eye palettes. But what's the point of hanging on to this? Like, I'll just throw up a photo or something if I ever even get around to doing that video, because sometimes you just get backed up on video ideas and they don't get done. So now that we've done Odin's Eye, we have another big category to go over, which is Pat McGrath. So buckle in. I have 18 Pat McGrath palettes, so let's just go over them. I'm going to set these aside. We're going to quickly go over the motherships, because I think the mothership I will keep. So the first one that I have is Sublime, which is the Mothership 2. I only have 5 motherships. I mean, this is a lot of money, 18 palettes right here. Here's what it looks like. I do like it, but my point was I try to only get the ones that I really like. The only one on my list still is Moonlit Seduction, but I don't know if or when I'll ever eventually pick that one up. The second one I have is Subliminal. That's in the wrong order. This is the first mothership. And that has the blue in it. It's a little bit more cool tone. Really pretty. Then the second one is Midnight Sun. Really enjoy this one. I did a video ranking on my Pat McGrath palettes as well a long time ago. I'll link that video up above. I should probably do an updated one. Midnight Sun has the purple. Also really enjoy this one, obviously. Then I have the original Divine Rose. What really just kind of put Pat McGrath up high. And here's that one. And then Divine Rose 2, which I think is a little bit more rose theme. And for being a neutral lover, I like more than the original Divine Rose. I just think it's a little bit more unique, and the special shades are a little bit more special. But those are all my motherships, and these will be staying. The other ones, though, I would like to go through and maybe just clean up a little bit. I will also be keeping these 2 quads. We'll start with the quads, because these are the Blitz Astral quads, and they're all 4 special shades. So this is Iconic Illumination. It's really pretty. And then this one is Ritualistic Rose. And it is also very nice. Here's what this one looks like. This duochrome is stunning. So both of these will stay. These 2 quads, though, I have Deep Space Divinity. And this is the one I think I'm going to declutter, because I was trying to look for a quad the other day to do a No Pan Left Behind on, just an easy palette I could knock out. And I looked at this one and kind of just thought, like, no, I don't want to use this. And I just don't think I want to use this ever. So I'm going to declutter that one. This one is Voyeuristic Vixen. And this is a pretty color story. I do like it. The shades are really pretty. So I'll hang on to this one. The Quints and then the 6 pans. These 2 are from the Love collection. So I have Velvet Liaison, which is an all matte palette. This was a really nice palette, actually. The matte formula just seemed different from any matte formula that I've tried from Pat McGrath in the past. So I'll definitely be keeping this one. And then the other one that I have is Iconic Infatuation. I kind of just want to compare some of my Pat McGraths, because she does do a lot of pinky tones. So I'm going to keep this one aside, and we'll look at these Quins. Let me put these to the side as well. So for the Quins, I have Sunset Romance, then Lunar Nightshade. Lunar Nightshade's not at all like this one. And I know this was a really popular one for a lot of people, but I just don't love it as much. So I think I'm just going to declutter this one straight away. I don't need to compare it. Then I have Bronzed Ecstasy. This one is Bordeaux Bliss. So you can see like the pinks here. Bronzed Ecstasy is different enough, and I know that I want to keep this one. I really, really like this one, so this one can stay. Then I have Nude Allure. Looks like this. And the last one is Bronze Bliss, which looks like this. So this one's also very different from these three. I'm going to keep this one. I actually quite like it. I like this navy shade, and I like the shimmers in this palette. All of these shimmers in these quints, by the way, are fantastic. They're kind of like a Super Shock formula, really impactful, kind of creamy texture. This is purely Color Story. I can only have this Color Story so many times, and I just want to kind of decide which one I like the most. I definitely like this one the least, only because it has mostly all shimmers, so it's not very practical for me. I'll declutter that one. And then I think out of these three, I like this one the best because it has 3 mattes, 3 shimmers. It's a one palette for me, whereas these are a little bit iffy. So I think I'm going to declutter these two, which are Sunset Romance and Nude Allure. And then this was Bronze Bliss. Oh yeah, that's right. And I said I'm going to keep this one. And then this Iconic Infatuation I will also keep. Then this is the last one. This is Platinum Bronze, a 6-pan that everyone really seemed to enjoy. But for some reason, I just didn't. And I hang on to it because you can no longer get this palette. I just never reach for it though. And I don't think I'm ever going to. It's an all shimmer palette. I've had it for a long time, just don't use it. So I think it's finally time I declutter it. So it is going to go. So out of the 18 Pat McGrath palettes, I'm decluttering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am very happy with that number. I think that was my last like big category. Maybe not, but the next couple I have are pretty small, so let's get started with those. I have 2 of these duos from Patrick Ta. I have Still at the Club and Do You Know Who I Am? So Do You Know Who I Am is the 2 kind of gold shades, and then Still at the Club are the taupey ones. I am going to keep both of these because they kind of make me angry to get rid of. And I do feel like I could use them a little bit, but really, I'm mad at myself for wasting my money on these. They're going to stay that for now, though. Next is Peri Para. I have 3 of these. I forgot what they call these. This collection. Take the Mood, maybe. This is the Fallen Acorn. Then I have Hip Gray and Beautiful Rose. These are, I think, some of my only K-Beauty palettes left in my collection, and I actually I do like all of these. I was kind of thinking I was going to declutter them, but I do like them. I do. So for now, all of them can stay. I thought I was going to declutter them, but I'm just not ready to yet. And I don't, as much as I don't want to repeat myself, I don't want to declutter. Next up, some one-offs. I have Persona, the Identity palette. This is a great neutral palette. I think I talked about this in like my top neutral palettes at one point, and I stand by that. A really nice palette. Neutrals, cools, warms, everything you'd want in a palette. This is very old, but I do want to hang on to it. And then this is the Revlon So Fierce. And I actually keep this with my single shimmers because it's an all shimmer palette. I have not opened this, and I just, for some reason, I cannot declutter this. I really want to try it. My friend Bridget has spoken really highly of these palettes. They look like they're going to be beautiful. So for now, I'm going to hang on to it. Next brand is Rowan. I have 3 quads from Rowan. I have the 1111. I have Gold Lust. And I have 52 Degrees. I think I'm going to keep 1111. That is my favorite. And I think hesitantly, I'm going to declutter these 2. I'm going to declutter Gold Lust and I'm going to declutter 52 Degrees. I just don't love them enough. They were very expensive, but I'm not going to reach for them. And I think someone else could give them a little bit more life than I have. So, yep, they are going. Shine by SD is the next brand that I have. This was a collaboration with Expert Bizarre Volta and M. Jones 5018. This was the Duality 2.0 collection. So there's 6 shimmers, and there was a dusk palette, which looks like this, and a dawn palette, which looks like this. I have to keep these. These are beautiful. I also keep this in my single kind of drawer, but because it's a palette, I'm talking about it today. They were very expensive, and I just cannot part with them. I have 2 palettes from Sigma, the Ambiance and the New Mod. Really enjoy both of these palettes, and I could not get rid of them. There's other Sigma palettes that I want, but I'm happy with these 2. I'm content with these 2. So for now, these are going to stay. I don't feel like this is a problem brand for me. 3 palettes from Simply Posh Cosmetics. The first one that I tried, which is the Cozy Cabin, I fell head over heels in love with this brand. I think they are so, so good. Really recommend the brand, and I'm so excited to see what they come out with in the future. I am a little bit disappointed that they brought this palette back because it was limited edition and then kind of changed up some of the shades in the palette, but then didn't sell the shades separately. So that way, if someone had purchased the old palette, they couldn't maybe replace the new shades in the palette with the new version. It's fine. It is what it is. Other brands revamp their palettes all the time. Still love this brand, and I'm very happy to have them. I also have the Coastal palette, which I'm very excited to reach for in the summertime. It just looks beautiful, but I have not cracked into it yet. And then the Snow Angel palette, which came out for holiday time. Also stunning. It kind of reminds me of the Nomad Après Ski palette, but I love the layout. I really enjoy it. I know it's not anything groundbreaking, but their formula is fantastic, and I'll be keeping all 3 of these. I have 2 more one-off brands. This is so sad. I have this little Smashbox duo. Why have I kept this? Why? Someone explain it to me, the psychology behind keeping this. This is going. And then I have this Stila palette. This is the After Hours eyeshadow palette in After Hours, okay. There were 2 versions of these. That's why I thought there was a different name. I remember I purchased this on the recommendation of Smoky Glow. She really enjoyed this palette, and I don't know. I thought before opening this I was going to declutter it, but I just don't think I can. It is beautiful, and I would really like to try it. I think this is like the Marc Jacobs. I need to prioritize it, and if it's still unused and unopened, the next time I do a declutter, it needs to go. I'm committing that to myself, but for now it's going to stay. The next palette to talk about is from Surratt. This is the Beautylish palette. As much as I know I don't get my money's worth out of this palette, I definitely still want to hang on to it. I'm not ready to declutter it yet. It is a really nice formula. It kind of gets lost in my collection, if I'm just being honest. Next, we have my one and only Sydney Grace palette. I will never, ever, ever declutter this. I just can't. This is the Tiny Marvels palette. Do really enjoy this palette. It took me a long time to work up the courage to even use this palette and feel like I could give myself permission to give this palette the love that it really truly needs. And it's a very unique, colorful palette. Kind of reminds me a tiny bit of the Nouveau, but better. I mean, spectacular formula. Can't say enough good things about it. I will forever hang on to this palette. It's very sentimental to me. After that, I have 3 Tarte palettes. The Tartelette in Bloom, one of the very first palettes I ever purchased, and I just don't think I could get rid of it. It still performs really nice, honestly. I like having it in my collection until it just doesn't work anymore. I will hang on to it. Then this is called the Lid Laugh Love Dream palette, and it comes out like this. So you kind of have like a warm tone, a pinky tone, and then like a neutral tone. I kind of really like this palette. I think it's really travel friendly. It works really well. The formula's nice. A good everyday basic staple palette when you need it. I got this during holiday one year and it has served me well. Then the other palette that I have is the original Tarte Juicy before they made it one of these size palettes. And I heard that the formula was better in this palette than when they switched it over. I haven't used this clearly, and who knows how old this palette is at this point. I just don't think I'm willing to get rid of it yet. I was going to declutter it, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Maybe I'll change my mind later, but as of right now, I want to hang on to it. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. We need to get it together, I think. I just don't feel great about my declutter pile, but also I need to stop putting pressure on myself. Let's talk about the next brand. This is from Terra Moons. This is the Lovers on the Sun palette. This is another palette I just lusted over and have yet to use and try. Would really like to. I will eventually. I know I will, but it just looks so beautiful. I'm very excited. And there's another, Terra Moons just came out with another palette recently that I would really love to pick up, but I'm definitely not doing that until I at least try this palette. And then we have Titanium Foxes, another indie brand. So I have the palettes Poppy Quiet, which looks like this. I'll be keeping all of my Titanium Foxes palettes. I recently did a deep dive with this brand as well, doing 3 or 4 different looks with each one of these palettes, showcasing the looks and just talking about my thoughts on the formula, etc. So I'll link that video up above. Then we have a Grackle Chat, which is kind of their cool tone color story. Very pretty. Honestly, like there's no way you can even photograph how amazing and shifty these palettes are. Then I have Jay's Joy, which looks like this. This was one of their newer palettes, but they recently just came out with the Hidden Piece palette. I do plan on picking that up, but it's not very high on my priority list. Titanium Foxes is also another French indie brand, so I do like supporting them. Very different from Mika Beauty Shop, the other one that I talked about earlier in this video, because these mattes are very pigmented. Like to me, this is an advanced eyeshadow formula where Mika Beauty Shop is more beginner friendly. So just keep that in mind if you've been looking at these palettes. Next, we have Tom Ford, and I have 4 quads from Tom Ford. This is my oldest one, which is Nude Dip. I talk about this all the time because it's squeaks, and like for a $90 palette, I just feel like it shouldn't do that. I do really like this palette though. It can stay. And then these 3, I have the Quad Cream in Smoky Quartz. This is an all cream palette. And I don't love this. I don't think it performs really well. I actually meant to get a different cream quad that has one shimmer. I don't love that this is all matte, so I will be decluttering this one. And then the other 2, I don't think that I've even had the chance to use yet. So this one is Forbidden Pink. And it kind of just looks a little bit dark for me. So I'm also going to declutter this. I can't believe it, but I'm going to. And then the last one that I have, I believe is Honeymoon. Yes, in special packaging. That looks like this. And I think I'm going to declutter this too. I'm just over it. I'm just over it. I don't see the point in keeping this for the status of having a Tom Ford quad if I know I'm not going to reach for it. So I think, yeah, I'm going to declutter 3 of my Tom Ford quads and only keep 1, which is very surprising to me. If you, like 6 months ago, I don't know if I would have had the guts to do that. So I'm very happy about that decision. Next, we have Too Faced, which these are my Too Faced palettes. I have 3. So the Appley in Love was actually my first Too Faced tin palette. I actually really like this palette a lot. It's very special to me. Being that was my first tin palette, the first one that finally like called out to me. So this one will stay. I recently had the Sweet Peach decluttered to me, and I've used it No Pan Left Behind. Like this palette a lot. When it first came out, I remember the hype around it, and I never purchased it because I was like, that's just not my color story. A really pretty everyday palette, so this one can also stay. This is the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes. I had this palette, decluttered this palette, and then I got this as free gift with purchase again, which is why I have this palette again. And I was going to keep it. I know a lot of people really love this palette. I just don't think I need it. And that was the reason why I decluttered it in the first time. Like, this is not opened and used because I have so many neutral palettes. I'm not saying the formula is not great in this. I just don't think it's the first neutral palette that really screams to me as one that I want. So being that it's unopened, I am also going to declutter this and keep these 2. My next brand is Unearthly. I won't be getting rid of any of these palettes. Spoiler alert, but let's go over them quickly. I have the Fall Magic palette. Like this one quite a bit, actually. I love the grungy tones. Sorceress Smoke, probably one of my favorites because it's the most neutral. It is very pretty. The shimmers are impactful. The mattes are impactful. It is just, this is a great brand. The Dreamer palette, I don't love this one as much just because it's a little bit darker and moodier. I would have preferred a little bit more light to midtones in this palette, but still very pretty, and I'm happy to have it. Spring Magic, stunning. Don't love this teal here, but the rest of the palette is beautiful. And then the Not Normal Remastered palette, very excited to use this. I actually have this palette pulled aside right now to try and use No Pan Left Behind. It's in my deck of panning project. I will link that video up above, and I'm excited to see what I think of this palette. Unearthly, super recommend as a brand. They get a lot of hype online, but I think for good reason. Like, they're just good quality formula and brand, and I like them a lot. So all of these will be staying. The next palette I have to talk about is from Urban Decay. This is the Naked Reloaded. Over the years, I have purchased so many Urban Decay palettes and then never used them, ended up decluttering them. This is the one that I've held on to the most. But again, along similar lines of the Natural Nude, this just doesn't seem like a neutral palette that I'm going to reach for. I don't like these long pans either, if I'm being quite honest. It's my least favorite pan shape. So I'm just going to declutter it. I was going to keep it at the beginning of this, but then I opened it up and changed my mind. So this will be going. I have a few Viseart palettes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's talk shape first. So these 2 quads, I have the Framboise and then the Lila. It's hard for me to declutter these because you can take the pans out and rearrange them. I do like both of these palettes, so they can stay. Viseart has a really nice formula, but it's not one like right now I really gravitate towards because it is a little bit lighter. I have the Petite Pro. This was the original one, and it is a really nice palette. Like, these shades look dark in pan, but they do turn out a lot lighter on the lid because you can sheer them out. And then the Midsummer, they just came out with a Midsummer this size, and it looks really pretty. This is a really nice palette, actually. I have no problem with the formula. And again, it's like hard for me to justify getting rid of them when I know I could take them out and kind of customize my color story. I have Cashmere Charmeuse, which looks like this, and then Violette Vespertine, which looks like this. I do like the Violette Vespertine more, but I I love the matte formula. Maybe I should like take all the shimmers out and declutter those and just keep the mattes in a Z palette or something like that. That could be an idea. I don't know. For now though, I think I'm gonna keep all of my Viseart palettes until I decide. There's no rush, so those will stay. My 3 What's Up Beauty palettes. What's Up Beauty is one of my favorite indie brands as well, so none of these are going. Geodes is probably my least favorite. If I was to declutter one, it would be this one. Desert Monsoon is my second favorite. I like this one a lot, actually, and this was their first palette they came out with. It does not beat the Dragon palette, though. I really like this one. I hope that What's Up Beauty comes out with more palettes soon. It kind of seems like they're just branching out their line in general, coming out with setting powders, blushes, bronzers, all that stuff, which I understand, but I want more palettes from them. So these 3 will be staying. And then I have Wicked Widow Beauty. This is the Lovesick palette. Purchased this over a year ago and have yet to use it, but I just cannot get rid of it just yet. It is a really pretty Valentine's Day story, and I think I just missed Valentine's Day. I was busy or preoccupied and kind of missed the season, so it's just sat on the back burner, but I've heard really nice things about this palette, so this will also stay. If you watch my channel at all, you know how much I rave about these YSL quads. It is the #1 luxury eyeshadow that I would recommend to anyone. The first one that I got is Stora Dolls. I purchased this with my own money when I hit 1,000 subscribers. Love this palette so much. YSL has come out with so many of these and they are expensive, so I'm trying not to go overboard purchasing them, and I haven't. These 2 were very generously decluttered to me not that long ago. So I also have 200, which looks like this. It's a little bit rosier. This shade is so beautiful. And then I have 300, which is a little bit more warm tone. And they are just so pretty. I love them so much. I've already used them No Pan Left Behind style. There's like 2 other ones I think that I would really enjoy having, but I will wait for some kind of sale or something. I won't be picking those up right away. The very last brand that I have to talk about somewhat, you'll see in a minute, but is Zoeva. We are at the Z's. So I have 2 palettes from Zoeva. I have the Melody palette, and this is a really nice formula. It's very light. I mean, if you do not have a fair to light complexion, this probably won't show up on you, but I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed that palette. So much so that I had the Cocoa Blend palette in a previous declutter, and I actually pulled it out so I could use it, and I have not yet. So even though this is a fantastic formula, well, I can't speak to that because I haven't tried this palette. I'm assuming it's as fantastic as the Melody palette. I am again going to declutter this palette because I haven't used it. So this is going to go, but Melody is going to stay. And then I have one more brand to talk about, and we will wrap up with numbers. So the last brand that I have is Glam Shop. This is a Polish indie brand, and I realized when I was going through my spreadsheet that I didn't have this brand in my spreadsheet. So that's why I missed them in the very first video. So I'm going to go over them now, but I will be keeping both of these. This is in Polish, so I cannot read it, but it is kind of a greeny, grungy palette. And Glam Shop is a really great indie brand if you're looking for European indie brands. Their shimmers are very impactful. The only downside to their brand is they do discontinue palettes fairly quickly. So if you see something you like, you have to grab it fast. This is the Z Flio Tem palette. I think I'm saying that right, which is the purple palette. And I'm so excited to use this. I have not used either of these palettes. I have used some other shades from Glam Shop, which is why I can speak on their formula, but very excited to use this. I'll probably pull this into fall because it was a fall palette. I just didn't get it for a while, so kind of got it in like late winter, and eventually I'll get back to it. But both of these are going to stay. Just wanted to talk about it for transparency purposes. So now let's take all of our decluttered palettes and find out exactly how many I am decluttering today. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 palettes, which is crazy because that's how many I decluttered exactly on my last declutter. That's very interesting. I did not plan that, I swear. Let me do some math. We'll talk about my final numbers. So, like I said at the beginning of this video, I had 127 when I counted my M through Z palettes, plus I had the 2 from Glam Shop. So that puts me minus 25 at 103 palettes and 105 with those 2 from Glam Shop. The very first video I did, I also decluttered 25 palettes. I ended up with 112. So that means my palette collection went from 267 palettes to 217 palettes. I decluttered 50 palettes altogether. You know, it could be better. I would have liked to be a little bit closer to that 200 number if you were to ask me, but I'm very happy with what I've decluttered these past couple of days, and I think it's a good start. There is a really good possibility that as I know Pan left behind some other palettes here, I just decide I don't want them. I do a lot of spontaneous decluttering as I'm going along in my collection. I don't just do a giant declutter. If I know I don't want it, I get rid of it right then and there to just get rid of the clutter and have it not take up space. But this is where I'm going to leave you all. This is my eyeshadow declutter for 2025. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did I get rid of some things I should have kept, like the Naked Reloaded, the Natural Nude? I mean, there's some good palettes in here. This Natasha Denona one kind of hurts my heart, but I'm happy with what I did. So let me know your thoughts down below, but this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.